Hello guys, it's Tad, your homestead provider. We're back out in the garden here again. Look how huge some pea plants are. Them are massive. Got a bunch of peas on them. We're fixing to pick these peas right here. This is a white Crowder pea is what I would consider. I call them the Henry County peas because my Aunt Joyce and Uncle Theron originally give us the seed. These are some really good. They're very similar to the purple hulls, a little bit different. We really like them. We've grew these for years and years and years and just saved the seed. And actually this seed right here that grew this row was from 2017. That goes to show you, if you properly save your seed, you can grow some good plants. And this right here, this can be grown in your backyard. This does not have to be grew in a garden. That way you know exactly where your food comes from. Have you looked at any labels lately on some of the food you're buying? You might see all kinds of stuff. A lot more than just what you think you're getting. Half the stuff you can't even pronounce. You know what? I know exactly what's in that. 100% peas. More. But anyway, let's get to it. Alright guys, now as you can tell, we're back here in the house. I've washed the peas. I've got my sterilized jars out of the dishwasher. Our dishwasher has a sterilizing cycle, so I sterilized the jars in there. Now I transferred them over to the oven. As you can tell, I put it on 170, the lowest setting it would go. The jars are going to be warm, but it's not warm enough to cause you to burn or nothing like that. I like for my jars to be warm whenever I'm pouring the boiling water into the jars. Therefore, it'll prevent shattering, because anytime you have hot going to cold, with glass, that doesn't always mix. So I've got our pressure canner here. This is an old Sears version from a long time ago my grandmother had. I've got about 3 inches of water in the bottom of it right now. I've got it sitting here ready. I've got just plain water right here warming up on the stove. We're gonna need it boiling, okay? So I've got my wash peas here ready. I've got my lids back here in the back warming up too, because I always like to have my lids sitting in warm water. That way it'll help the seal around the jar lid. So I've got all that ready. I'm fixing to start packing the peas into the jars, okay? Now this right here is just a canning funnel. Makes life a lot easier whenever you're canning, doing this right here. So we're gonna start packing these peas. Now you want to fill the jars up to just below the rim. Now these are raw. I did not blanch them. I feel like if you do them raw, it keeps them a little more firm. You don't want them getting too soft anytime they're canned. So there's that. Now this canner looks like it'll hold about 8 pints, and we're doing pints right now. We may do some quarts here in a little while, but right now we're doing pints. So we're going to fill all these jars up right here. Now whenever I was washing the peas, I was picking out any that might have bites or not hardly right, you know. I was saving them because I'll give them to the chickens. They'll enjoy that little treat. Got a little too much in that one. It needs to be just below the rim right there. Now, as you can tell, I recycle jars. These up right here, and then we're going to put in each of these pint jars, we're going to put a half a teaspoon of canning salt in them. Of course, y'all may know from previous videos I use Redmond's real salt. I'll put a link down in the description for that, but put a half a teaspoon per pint or a full teaspoon per quart. It's however you're canning. This is essentially the same way of doing both. More, and that'll be our 8. There is our 8 jars. Now, while this is still warming up right here, getting ready to boil, I'm going to go ahead and add the salt to each of these jars. So, half a teaspoon. It's great salt. I use it on everything. Now this would be considered raw packing these jars. All right, there's that. Now we're gonna just wait for this to start boiling and we'll be right back. Now our water is boiling, so we're gonna start putting the boiling water into the jars with into the peas right here. So I'm gonna use my funnel. Fill it up just below the line. That'll be good enough. Now, I did this in previous videos, but I always like to run a paper towel around the edge of the jar rim just to be sure everything has got off of that and there's nothing that could hinder the seal. So I'll do that. Starting setting these in here. I like to kind of shake it down, kind of smooth it out in there. We're gonna clean around the edge. Put our jar lid and cinch her down. Now this is just going to be in repeat mode until we get all these done right here. Alright, let's do this. And there's that one. Now, you could also do this by freezing them, and we do often. This is just, we have a smaller freezer, and I don't want to fill it up, so we're gonna can several of these. If you was freezing them, I would say blanch it. Blanching is a process that would just kill anything that could be on the peas. Kind of just, I wouldn't say sterilize, but it basically kills everything that could be on the peas. And the process for that is washing them, cleaning them, picking out the bad ones, putting it in a pot and basically boiling it for a short period of time, and then turning around, letting it cool, turning it around, putting it in a quart or pint jar or pint Ziploc bag, freezer bag. That's really all there is to it. Then putting it in the freezer. That's obviously a lot quicker than the canning process, but like I said just a second ago, we're saving space in our freezer, so this is how we're going to do most of these. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, but with our first picking that's on the video, we got a little over 5-gallon bucket of these peas, which whenever I'm canning and putting them up, I just soon do a bunch. So we shelled them and put them in the refrigerator, just shelled. Now you can keep them for a week. Fresh peas probably for a week in the refrigerator, and it'd be just fine. So, and I did another picking, and we got more. So got, I think, 2 buckets more that time, and you know, that makes for a pretty good cooking. and we mixed them together and just, you know, washed them all together, and this is the result. Just below the rim. Do this. Looks like we could hold 2 more. Now I did add 2 more jars because I wasn't sure if it was 8 or 10 or how many pints this would hold. But it looks like we put 2 more in there, so maybe 9. It's kind of an odd number. I might have to rearrange them. So. Looks like that's all I'm gonna get in here. So we are, oops. Yeah, I don't want them to be too tight and take a chance of busting them. So I'll set these 2 to the side right over here, and I'm gonna set this up and get the pressure started going up on it, and we'll show you how that process here in just a second. All right, so I got the pot on the eye that I want to do this on. You can see them in there. They're all in there. The water's up. By the time I put the jars in there, it's probably about halfway. We're going to seal the lid on here like that. Turn it up pretty good, and once steam starts coming out of this hole right here, I'll add the little weight, and then we'll watch the pressure come up. We'll be right back when that comes on. All right, we now have steam and water coming out of our little element here. So I'm gonna turn it down to roughly medium right now and put our weight on. Now I want this to get up to 10 pounds of pressure right here, and it's going to need to maintain it for 40 minutes. So we're going to wait on it to come up to pressure, and then for 40, we'll start the timer for 40 minutes. After that, it'll be done. We'll be right back. All right, so we've made it to 10 psi, 10 pounds of pressure right there. So I'm going to start the timer for 40 minutes. We'll be back after 40. All right, guys, so it has been 40 minutes. So we're going to turn this off and allow it to cool by itself for a little bit until the pressure gets down to almost 0, and then we'll take the lid off. All right, so the pressure has now got down to 0. So I'm going to pop the lid open now. Set it sideways like that, let some of the steam come out. Once some of the steam slows down, I'll open it all the way. Then we'll get the cans out. Alright, so we took the lid off. I'm going to set these out to the side right here for them to start cooling. And now these are very hot. that is it. Well, now as they start cooling, they'll start sealing. We'll start hearing them pop. So that's it. That's canning peas. That's how you do it. And as you can see, I've got to do another batch or two. So I'm gonna get to it. If you're liking these videos, if you like what we're doing, like this video, subscribe to the channel. That lets us know that you're enjoying this. You can hit that little bell icon. That way you'll get notifications whenever we post videos, because you never can really tell what I'm gonna be doing next. So all right, this is Tad, your homestead provider. God bless.